you're charged with driving while your license is suspended. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or $2,000 fine.
The expired registration as of December 2023 and expired insurance as of November 2023. A traffic stop was initiated and the officer made contact with the driver, the defendant, and the defendant did not have a driver's license due to outstanding tickets. The defendant had 18 outstanding Class C.
18 warrants. That's not just a traffic record, that's practically a greatest hits collection of unpaid tickets. Viewers, what do you think? At what point should unpaid fines cross the line into jail time? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Misdemeanor warrants.
18 warrants?
What I have you on?
I'm assuming it's still, have you run it lately? You mind? Mr. Espinoza, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm warning you now as a condition of your bond not to drive any vehicle whatsoever for any reason until you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name. You will be signing an affidavit. This is a promise that you're going to make to me that you're going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care if there's a burning building and you need to save 50 kittens. If you get into a car and drive, every time you do it, it's an offense in and of itself, punishable by up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
This is the affidavit you're going to sign. I don't care if you have to work. I don't care if there's a baby being born. I don't care if Jesus needs a ride to church. Do not drive. I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer, Mr. Espinoza? Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
I hired one.
Oh, Judge, Brian Levine signed on this morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
At the Sully attorney this week.
okay. I guess let's do this. I'm going to have you swear to us you're not going to drive. I'll get you to Victoria, sign a reset, and then we'll have you take a seat while we wait for your lawyer to get here. Do not leave until he gets here and we have you sign a reset and excuse you. All right? Come on.
Judge, counsel is a.
Mr. Sosa, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir.
On April 9th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, an officer was dispatched with a call for a suspicious person. The witness stated there was a Hispanic male in the back of the business causing a disturbance. The witness stated that the male was intoxicated and threatening an employee. The officer went to the back and noticed the male arguing with several people. The officer gave several verbal commands for the defendant to stop. The officer told the defendant he was only being detained for safety. And the defendant continued to walk away and stated, it's always the Hispanic trying to get the Hispanic. The defendant refused all verbal orders given to him, and the officer detained the defendant and notified him.
This is an interesting moment. The judge is questioning whether the defendant even understood the commands because of a possible language barrier. In law, if instructions aren't clearly communicated, can someone truly be guilty of interference? That's why he's leaning toward no probable cause. Pretty rare to see judges dig into fairness like this in real time.
The officer noticed that while detaining the defendant, the defendant continued to say, why for your broke stand.
What did he do? How did he interfere with anything? I didn't hear anything. Hispanic on Hispanic injustice or what?
Additionally, Judge, do we know that this was being told to him in Spanish? He's clearly not English.
You losing?
Your Honor, the only thing I have is that the officer was able to continue to walk away.
He's walking while Hispanic or what? No, I'm going to find no probable cause. All right, sir. There are people, when they drink, they become very happy. They are the life of the party. And there are people who, when they consume alcohol, they become the devil incarnate. If this is you, it's probably not a good idea to drink. Now, I'm finding no probable cause in your case, but be careful. You know, we have enough violence in this place as it is. All right? Please, take a seat for me. You are Miss Murphy Smith.
Yes.
Ma'am, you're charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months, 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am. Okay.
On September 29th, 2023, a law enforcement officer was dispatched to a residence and made contact with the complaining witness. The complainant was stated that the defendant and her mother took items from her vehicle and would not return them. The complainant was stated that she had been contacted by a friend informing her of the theft and that the defendant had stated she was going to spend all of the complaining witness's money and max out her credit cards. The complaining witness inspected her vehicle and found her belongings missing. The law enforcement officer spoke with the defendant over the phone. Excuse me, Mayor. And the defendant admitted to taking the items and was taken with $600.
Ms. Murphy Smith, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness, not to go where they live, and not to go near their car. These are your bond conditions. If you violate these conditions, a warrant for your arrest will be issued. You will go into custody. No more PR bonds. Do you understand, ma'am? Yes.
Yes, sir.
You have the ability to hire a lawyer, ma'am.
No.
We will have you fill out an application. I'll take a look to see whether you qualify. If you do, we'll provide your lawyer today. Deputy Miranda's going to give you an application. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria. We'll have you take a seat in the jury box and then don't leave until we release you, ma'am. Okay, please. Mr. Ramon, you are charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
On April 9th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, an officer was dispatched to a theft at Target. The officer arrived and made contact with loss prevention employees who stated they observed two Hispanic females, later identified as the defendant and co-defendant. They were in the store selecting merchandise and placing items in a shopping cart, specifically concealing some of the items in a baby car seat while one was pushing the cart. While this defendant was adding merchandise to the shopping cart, she removed the price tags from selected items. Meanwhile, the co-defendant walked through the makeup department, selected 3 items, and placed them in the baby car seat, along with other items they had previously chosen. The co-defendant then proceeded to the jewelry department, where she selected a purse, and both females then moved towards the front of the store, approaching the cash registers without making any pay for the items in the car seat, and exited the store. Without attempting to pay for the merchandise in the shopping cart that the co-defendant was pushing. The defendants were positively identified from previous AFI smoke shop photos, and the total value of the items taken was $150.98.
It's Walmart?
Target, Your Honor.
Target. Mr. Ramon, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to go to any Target for any reason. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you do, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you. I am also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact, hang out with, or be with Ms. Monsivai. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you're hanging out with her, likewise, you will end up in custody. If you don't have anyone to pony up $5,000 to $10,000 to get you out of jail, you will be stuck like Chuck in there until this case is over with. And I'm telling you, it'll take 9 months just to get, certain types of evidence. Do you understand? What do you do with yourself these days?
I stay home, taking care of my mom.
Did you graduate from high school? What are you going to do with her?
Wow, the judge just turned this courtroom into a life coaching session. Notice how he shifts from punishment to mentorship, trying to stop this young woman from going down a path that could define her entire future. Do you think judges should take on this kind of motivational role or just stick to the law? Let's talk about it.
The rest of your life, ma'am. If you need something to do, this is not the right way. A theft conviction will kill you because people know, you need something to do. When people have too much time on their hands, they become self-destructive, man. You need something to do, and now's the time for you to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. You only have so much time. Before you know it, 5 years will pass. If you've done nothing, you're either going to, hanging out with the wrong crowd, you're reliant on a man. You need to be strong as a woman. Never rely on a man. Knowledge is power. We're going to work on that. Do you mind appointing her a lawyer? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. We'll have you take your seat in the jury box. I'm going to find you a lawyer here, and then we'll figure out how we're going to go forward. Don't become a danger to our community. Don't hang around with the wrong people. They're just going to bring you down. You understand, man? Okay, come on.
This way.
Over, 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 and over. Now on our fourth. You now stand charged with prostitution.
On April 9th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, an officer was conducting an undercover investigation and observed the defendant walking on the side of the street. The officer observed that the defendant was exposing part of her breast and made contact with the defendant. The defendant asked the officer if the officer was the police, to which the officer replied he was not, and the defendant gestured with hands a 100, indicating $100. The officer, from training experience, recognized this to be a tactic used by prostitution workers to mitigate verbal conversations because they're aware of police reporting tactics. The officer then whispered 100, 104. The officer gestured a closed fist, entering and exiting the officer's mouth to indicate oral sex. The defendant then nodded her head up and down to indicate a yes response. The defendant then told the officer to get a room at a nearby motel. The officer stated the defendant gestured a 2 and 5 to indicate the price of the hotel. The officer left the scene and gave the predetermined bus signal, and the defendant was detained. The officer stated the defendant was positively identified using her FBI.
Okay. I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case, ma'am. Here's what we're going to do. I'm putting a monitor on your ankle now, and I'm forbidding you from going to any street from these cases that you've been on. If I find that you do, I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail, and I'm going to make your bond high. It stops today. Do you understand? The next thing that we're going to do, I will appoint you a lawyer, but it's time for you to get a real job, a 9-to-5 job, one where you actually work, get up, go to work for 8 hours, and then go home. I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks, and I want to see what you have done to fill out a gajillion applications. If nothing gets done, it's not going to go well. Do you understand? But this stops on our fourth, no more. And if I find that you're engaging in any type of way, do you understand? So I'd like to look at all the streets for every single case that we've had here, and then we're going to forbid her from going to any of these streets. I want it to ding and a GPS monitor so that we know she's not going to any of these streets. And we'll go from there. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria, and then I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box while we work out all the details, man. Please.
Purpose of the monitor other than the exclusions, did you want a curfew or anything?
Yeah, I guess so. Right. Yeah. Let's do a curfew so she's not out in the middle of the night.
7?
No, I mean, I don't want it to be restrictive like 9 to 6. Yeah. I don't want her going anywhere near any of the streets on any of those prior cases. No drugs, no alcohol, and must get a full-time job. Mr. Finley, you're charged with evading arrest or detention and unlawful carrying of a weapon. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Judge, I'd like to start out by prefacing that the unlawful carry is based on the defendant being under 21 years of age.
Okay.
And then I'll proceed with the.
Yeah.
On April 10, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, a law enforcement officer was dispatched to a disturbance with a weapon call. The 911 caller gave a description of an individual with a gun at an intersection. Law enforcement officers, upon arrival, found a defendant who matched the description in the intersection. The defendant looked at the law enforcement officers, marked the car, and ran from the law enforcement officers. Law enforcement officers then said to the defendant, "Police, stop," and the defendant disregarded the command and kept running. The defendant then ran into an apartment complex and met a dead end, then stopped running and was detained. The defendant.
So they saw the gun on him. They saw him with a gun.
Your Honor, I don't know that they saw him. It's after he was detained, they found the gun in his front right pocket.
What led them to him in the first place?
There was a 911 call. It seems the 911 caller did see the gun.
Okay.
And then the officers were dispatched.
Next to the description of this dude with the gun.
Yes, Your Honor.
So cops come, he takes off. Okay.
And then he was detained after evading for approximately 100 yards. And then the law enforcement officers searched the defendant and found a pistol in the defendant's front right jacket pocket, a small bag of marijuana in the defendant's front right hand.
Okay. Here's the problem. You're on felony probation. So I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause, Mr. Finley. Let's do this. Do you mind appointing him a lawyer today? And then we'll have him talk to a lawyer. For now, you were not to use alcohol or dope, be in possession of a weapon. You're on felony probation where you're looking at 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. You're supposed to live life as if you have a halo above your head, Mr. Finley, because if not, you're looking at up to 10 years prison. You understand? What do you do with yourself these days? Do you work? Go to school?
Before that, I got arrested. I got fired.
What were you doing?
Where I saw,
Okay. It's time to get back to the jobs. You need to get a job. And I am making that a condition of your bond as well. If I find that you're not working, just doing nothing all day, it's not going to go well for you. I'm going to test you like crazy. If I find that you're using, it's not going to go well. Do you understand? I'm giving you the opportunity now to not use, because I'm telling you, I will test you 45 days from today. And if you continue to use, it's not going to go well for you. Do you understand?
so
See about a job. And then, so for now, I'll have you go to Victoria Center Reset. We'll have you take a seat in the jury box while we have you sign bond conditions. You will meet shortly here with pretrial for your bond conditions. All I want are my streets to be safe. You do anything to my streets. You understand me? Come on.
Your Honor, just to clarify.
I'm finding probable cause on both cases.
Both cases, yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, he's on felony probation, you know?
Yes, Your Honor.
You mind bringing up Miss Gibbs? Yes.
Council for reset?
Joseph, who you got?
Judge, I've got Benny Hernandez.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm not too great, but I'm managing. Judge, we can, this case, we could possibly do a plea on it today if we can do it all through the portal, if I can sign the documents through the
Yeah,
portal.
I'm sure we can.
Okay.
Do you know what offer you're gonna take?
The state's offered 15 months of probation.
Okay. Yeah,
This
you
is
mind
the second
writing that?
second
Yeah,
DWI.
everything can be done through the portal. Do you have your guy's phone number so you can, talk to him
Yes.
outside?
Yes, I do. I believe he's in the courtroom right now.
Benny Hernandez, your lawyer's gonna call you now. Step outside, talk to him about everything, and then when you come back in, we'll get it done. Please. Okay, Joseph, we'll
All right.
get it written up and put in the portal for you.
Thank you. All right.
Sure thing. Your lawyer is asking for me to give you a PR bond on your failure to identify oneself. I don't know, I have to look at what's going on in your life to see, should we give you a PR bond? Are you a danger to the community? I mean,
Not at all, sir. Not at all. I'm a college graduate. I've got 4 kids I need to take care of. I have a job. I have a vehicle. I have no problem getting to court at all. Like this, the last 2 court dates that I had with my felony, I had a miscarriage and I was in the hospital. And they're aware of that.
everybody tells me it's little bunnies jumping in the woods.
That's the only thing it was. It was, I had a for real miscarriage.
I get it, but you're on bond for a felony endangering a child.
Mhm.
You've picked up 2 fraudulent uses. And now, after those 3 cases, you've now picked up a 4th case of failure to identify oneself. So
They were all in this.
stop.
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent. I just want to know what's going on
Yes, sir.
to see whether we should give you a PR bond, because this is not a revolving door,
I understand that.
Yeah.
I apologize.
So we're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Okay, please.
Thank you. On April 2nd, 2025, the officer was monitoring a neighborhood police radio broadcast. The officer heard a broadcast call for the theft of the department store off of East Sam Houston Parkway in Harris County, Texas. The caller gave a description of the defendant and explained the defendant had just left the store. The officer arrived in the area and found the defendant as she was described by the caller, along with a male individual with the defendant. The officer observed the defendant and the individual enter into a motor vehicle and exit the parking lot. The officer observed the motor vehicle had no front license plate and expired registration. The officer conducted a traffic stop and made contact with the defendant. And the defendant identified themselves as Kathleen O'Brien, date of birth, May 24th, 1982. The defendant stated she did not have any ID card on her person. The officer looked up the defendant by the name and date of birth on the public safety photo, and they did not resemble the defendant. The officer asked for the name and date of birth of the defendant once again, and the defendant gave the same name and date of birth. Due to the photograph not matching, the officer attempted to confirm the defendant's name and date of birth with the mobile FIS that returned the actual identity of the defendant as Candace Lynn Gibbs, date of birth July 16, 1981, along with a Harris County Sheriff's Office mugshot of the defendant that matched the driver of the vehicle.
So they didn't charge her with a theft?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Or they did not.
So what's going on with the two fraud cases that she has that shows like no bond?
Not sure.
You know anything about those cases, Lori?
No, sir. I know that she went to court on the 15th, 14th,
15th, yes,
on the
ma'am.
15th on the. I received the email from her felony attorney stating that this was the only case that was holding her in and to see if I could move her up to get her out.
She said something that they weren't filed or they weren't, or something hadn't been done where.
Yeah, she said they weren't filed yet.
They're filed. I guess the judge just hasn't signed it yet.
Your Honor, it looks like there was a plea offer made originally for the endangerment of a child. And that plea offer has been made now on the fraudulent use case. That was just, I believe, discussed between the felony prosecutor and the defense attorney.
In this case, Lori, in the fraudulent use case, in her clutch, as they pull them over, she has the identifying credit cards, debit cards of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 different items of other people's identifying information. You are on bond for endangering a child. You pick up 2 fraudulent use cases and now allegedly at a store doing whatever with a failure to ID. I'm not going to sit here and give you yet another PR bond. You know, at some point we have to say when, and now is that time. Your bond, literally $50 to get you out, right? But I can't sit here and continue to just perpetuate this thing over and over and over. All I want is my community to be safe, you know?
I understand that,
So
sir.
I'm going to find probable
In an
cause.
abusive relationship.
Don't say anything, but got to understand that. Right. Just, I'm not going to give her a PR bond, Lori. I'm sorry. All right. So, ma'am, what we'll do now, your felony cases are set for the 30th of April. We can set you for the day after and we'll go from there. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
That's what we said.